Hey there, Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome, thanks for joining me today. In today's video, you kind of have to have seen the last three. We talked about some major blues sound licks. I took one from, I'll say generally the box 1 area, key of A major, the box 2 area, the box 3 area. Now what I was originally going to do is do one from 4 and one from 5 and then put them all together. But what I realized is that with these licks, there's just so much cool stuff you can do. I thought, you know what, let me do kind of an intermediary solo. So today I'm using just those first 3 licks. And what you're going to see is that I've actually made a lot of changes and a lot of adjustments. Although many of these things are things that, again, we discussed. How to transpose it, put it in a different place, how to minorize it to some degree. We took that first lick. It lended itself well to that, so you'll see that I've used it. So before I walk you through, I'll say note by note by note, let me kind of give you the broad strokes of what I did. Now you may want to go ahead and download this and have it on a screen in front of you. That may make a little more sense, or you may want to, have a look at the previous licks. But I'm just going to kind of walk you through exactly what I did. I called them simply lick 1, lick 2, and lick 3. So the first one we did was lick 1, the second one we did was lick 2, the third one we did was lick 3. So you can see I started out with lick 2. I didn't change anything. I didn't do anything funky. There it is. It's just right there. And then I did lick 3. Again, I didn't do anything funky. There was nothing to do to it. Done. End of story. Then, of course, we get to the 4 chord. The D7 comes along, and again, I used lick 1. I didn't mess with it, but I did have to transpose it because now we're over D7. And like I said, these licks, without some massaging, you have to transpose them. You can't just throw them in over the 4 chord without moving them to match. Then what I did is, you see here it says lick 2, and it actually starts over here. I took part of it and I changed the beat that it starts on, right? If we go back and we look at lick 2 up here, you'll notice that it starts on the last half of beat 1, okay? Well, first of all, this starts on beat 2, which is where I came in right here. But this is beat 4, so I started it in a different place. Does that really change anything? No, but it does make it start in a different place. And the other thing that and from there I finished it out. And then what I did is I took lick 3, and again, I changed the beat, and it says part because I took a little bit out. If we go back up here to lick 3, I didn't use that first note. I just took it right from here, which of course is beat 2 there. That works great as a pickup right here on beat 4 and goes in. And the other thing that I changed is I didn't play the last note. I ended it on that 8th fret. Why? I just liked the sound of it. You could very easily add that 10 back in, that A. That would be no problem at all. In fact, it would probably sound great. I just kind of like ending it on the flat 7. I thought it sounded cool. Okay, then the 5 chord comes along, right? Again, I'm gonna have to move it, and I did. It starts here on the E at the 12th fret instead of the A, like we've been doing in the past. I also had to end stuff, right? I only have one measure. That lick goes longer than one measure. So I ended it on the nice bend to the major third. It makes a nice melody. Then what I had to do is what I chose to do is when the D7 chord came along, I took only part of lick 2, right? You can see it starts the same, do, 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 do. But then what I did is when I got to this note, I just ended it. Again, I was gonna run out of room, right? And if I came back up here, you can see that I had, the pull off and all these other things to go. Well, I didn't have room for that, so I just stopped. This was not complicated. I hope that's clear. This didn't take some inordinate amount of brain power on my part. We all know I don't have that available, right? This was a very simple. I just stopped the lick, and it worked great. Gave myself a little bit of time, and you can see I have lick 1 mod, meaning I modified it, okay? I did 2 things. First of all, I took it up an octave. Why? Because it would have been a really big jump from this 13th fret down to the 5th fret. That would have been a really big jump, and I didn't want to do that. Plus, I wanted it to go ahead and end on a high note, pardon the pun. But I wanted to get it up, the highest region of the fretboard. So I brought it up an octave. I did not do the major third right here because I'm over the 4 chord. The last thing I ended is the last note. I made it an E instead of an A. Again, there's an E chord right there. It's a simple change, but it makes a really nice difference when you hear it. So as you can see, I didn't do anything we haven't talked about. I simply moved them when I needed to move them. I made that one alteration to the first lick to kind of make it minor. And generally speaking, I either just cut them off at the beginning or I cut them off at the end. I didn't really do any more than that. None of that is super special. All right. But real quick, let's just walk through it. And assuming that, you've been keeping up, these should be easy. Lick 2 we did. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, right? That's that. No big deal. It's exactly the same as it was a couple of videos ago. Same thing with lick 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 3, 4, right? Then I can't do lick 1 here over that chord. So I just moved it from A to D. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3. Now, you might think this pickup, how can I do that when I'm still on the D chord? Well, I can get away with it because it's a pickup into the A chord. So the ear will accept it. Now, I didn't put the first note. You absolutely could. It would just start a little bit earlier, right? 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's just all I did. I just stopped there, okay? But then I went ahead and just jumped into lick number 3. Again, cutting off the very beginning. Okay, so what I basically did is took the beginning of lick 2 and then I'm going to say the end of lick 3. It's all of it except the very first note. Just crammed them together. Okay, this is how those nice long licks that you dig are made. You just take 2 ideas and shove them together, or maybe 3 ideas, or maybe 4 ideas. The more of these that you have at your disposal, the longer these licks can be. So again, from lick 2, 3, and 4, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. Right? Pretty straightforward. Not a huge alteration. Again, like I said, for the E, I just moved it to E, and I had to stop there because I just ran out of beats. But that's fine. It sounds nice. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and I couldn't, I couldn't go down and do all the stuff again on this lick. But it sounds good right there. It ends nicely. Now, truth be told, what I wish is that I had something box 4-ish, but that's still to come because that's my root for box 4. So what I did is I went up here. Okay, and again, I could have done it down here. But I just didn't want to have to go from here. You might prefer that as opposed to sorry. You could play it in either octave. It wouldn't really make any difference. So if you have, done as I suggested and you've memorized those first 3 licks, this is pretty straightforward. I don't think you'd have too much trouble with it. Of course, I have a jam track. I have the PDF. You can download it. I'll leave links to all that stuff nearby. But what I hope this will do is 2 things. 1, kind of give you a day to, go back to those first 3 licks and maybe revisit them, or maybe you missed one and you feel like you got to practice on it a little bit more. So it could be a little bit of time, but also really show you it doesn't take a lot of licks to have a lot of options when you're soloing. This is only 3 licks. I filled up 12 bars, no problem. I could probably do 10 different solos with those 3 licks and have 10 completely different approaches. There's a lot of things you can do here. So again, I'll leave links to the downloads near this video. Hopefully that'll be obvious. As always, I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Thanks for joining me. If you have guitar playing friends you think would dig this video or the whole series so far, I hope you'll share it with them, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.